Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Sirât, directed by Oliver Laxe. So I didn't know a lot about this film before seeing it, and I think that's the best way to see this. The little you know about it, the better. I'm not going to give any major spoilers in this review, but I am going to talk about some of the things that happen. So if you don't want any spoilers, come back after you've seen the film. Overall, I think that this film does require patience and reflection, but it's well worth seeing. So some of the prominent film critics have been quite negative about this film. And I can understand that people might not like this film, but it's not my reaction. This is a real work of art. Oliver Laxe is such a fantastic filmmaker, I think. I've seen his three previous films, You Are Captains, Mimosas, and Fire Will Come. When I was doing the reviews with Joe, we reviewed Fire Will Come, and that is available if you go back on the site. Oliver Laxe, I saw him when I saw Mimosas. He was at the screening and he did a presentation before the film, and he said that he thinks the soul is on the skin, and he asked that we watch the film with the skin. And I thought that was such an interesting thing to do because it's not something you can do literally, but it kind of made sense to me, and it did work with Mimosas. I really like that film. And I think it applies to this film too, in the sense that actually it works literally with the booming rave music. You do feel it in your skin. But deeper than that, I think this is a film that after you've seen it, the more you think about it, you do feel it at the level of the soul. The film gets on to a fantastic start. We see these people setting up this massive speaker system. There's a beautifully composed shot with all the speakers set up and the mountains and the blue sky behind the speakers. Such a compelling image. And then we move into this rave in the desert, and the rave has such an energy. There's such a unique collection of people. This seems to be a kind of community of outsiders. There's a real sense of otherness here and of found family. And I think that most of these, if not all, were actually non-actors. I do think actually that in all Oliver Laxe's films, he's worked with non-actors. And in each one, I don't know how he does it, but they have a real authenticity. The music is fantastic and it really draws you in. All in all, I just found this opening very compelling and immediately engaging. The cinematography is fantastic. We've got desert, these amazing desert landscapes, and we see vehicles traveling across the landscape in the distance. I watched Lawrence of Arabia a little while back and reviewed it, and that film has this incredible sense of scale in the desert. Sirât does the same thing, and actually there is a comparison here with Mimosas because there was a similar thing in Mimosas. There's some incredible shots with the vehicles where it's at dusk and we see the vehicles in the distance with just these lights traveling across this massive landscape. I thought all of that was really effective. It's an interesting film narratively because it starts off with quite a strong narrative. It feels like it's going somewhere. We have a father and son looking for his daughter, for the sister. So it really feels like narratively we're engaged with that. And then it doesn't really go anywhere. If you want simple storytelling, then this film definitely isn't for you. It's abstract, it's ambiguous, but it does create a mood, I think. And I was never bored with this film. I was always engaged. What is this film about? I'm not really sure. I'm still thinking about it. It's maybe about the end of the world. And of course, we live in a time of war. We live in a time of environmental crisis. So it does have a resonance for today. The film is a kind of journey between life and hell. There's something of Dante's Inferno here. And it's definitely a film about loss and death. These people are all on this journey and They face these such extreme situations. People die along the way, the car falling off the cliff, the random explosions. I've seen the film criticised for being a bit Python-esque in the way that these things happen. But for me, I thought this was rather effective. There is a kind of absurdity, there is a kind of surrealism here, but I definitely have a sense that everything isn't necessarily as it seems. The explosions could be caused by mines, but I had the feeling while watching them that they were almost like this kind of spontaneous combustion. I did feel that there was almost a mystical element to the film. One of the critiques made by a number of reviewers is that one of the deaths is so extreme that it completely changes the film. And I kind of agree with this. It does change the tone of the film, but it was totally in keeping with the film for me. The extreme deaths are kind of representative of this absurd situation in this kind of twilight zone between life and death. I was involved in the story, and I would have quite liked the story to reach some resolution, but this isn't a film that's going to give you that. And actually, the big payoff for this film comes afterwards, when I was thinking about it and when I had time to kind of feel what my skin had experienced. I would highly recommend this film, though it's definitely not for everyone. This is a hardcore art house movie. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.